Hello and welcome to the Bellicose Nation. Well, folks, a couple stories that broke recently which deal in the political correct crowd getting caught in their own hypocrisy, and I thought we might have a cup of coffee and just have a little fun kicking it around. Now, what are some of the principles the PC crowd preach so harshly on? Number one, stereotyping. Of course, bullying. Isolating a minority group, using race as an indicator of behavior. And they are guilty, guilty, guilty. And in many ways, we all instinctively recoil from these type of things. But they just seem to take it to such an absurd level when it suits them. Now, the left has a number of strongholds, places where they and their ideas reign supreme. And one of those places is education, which is why I take such pleasure in bringing these two stories, which I'll link below. Now, the first one is from a Phoenix area school system where a student council organized a Redneck Day in order, of course, to bolster school spirit. And the second story is a parent-teacher association in the state of Washington, which proposed to have a White Trash Wednesday. And can you believe not one teacher, not one administrator saw anything wrong with this? Now, come on, people. We all know there are certain terms which can only apply to a certain race or class within a race. And we all know that these terms come with racial baggage, unless applied to white people, of course, or a distinctive class of white people, such as rednecks. Now, can anyone imagine a group at school proposing a Wetback Wednesday, where attendees dressed up as newly arriving Hispanics coming across the border? I don't think so. Or how about a Fried Chicken Friday, where everyone dressed up in ghetto attire? Could you imagine the staff not going into panic mode that the idea was even suggested? Why do these folks feel so at ease in lampooning groups of whites? Now, those who know me would say that I have the best sense of humor. And even though I am quite in touch with being white, I really don't even have much of a problem with these types of events and days and humor. And that's what I'm sure this was. If all groups were equal targets. And, like I said, if it was done in fun. So we must ask, who complained? The professional educators? No. As usual, it was some students and parents. And oddly enough, a black minister. Now, as one might have imagined, whenever there is a story on race, even if it has to do with whites, the comments from the race experts must be sought out. And in this case, of course, it was a local guy from the NAACP and, of course, a civil rights lawyer. Now, they were deeply offended. No, not at the holiday so much. They were offended that one of the kids actually had a Confederate flag on his t-shirt or something. I mean, you gotta laugh at that. If you were suiting up for the stereotype of a redneck or white trash, how could you not have a Confederate flag involved in the scene? The school seemed more concerned about the Confederate flag showing up on school property than they did about the theme of the Redneck Day. And of course, the real unanswered question is, why would these folks think Redneck Day or White Trash Wednesday would be an acceptable event at school? Can these folks be so isolated in their Facebook pals, or perhaps so racked with white guilt, that even they believe everyone holds poor minorities in the South up to disdain? So the thing I marvel at is the glaring hypocrisy where they spend way too much of the school day preaching on social issues while at the same time feeling absolutely comfortable beating up on what can only be seen as a white-only subculture. This is the Bellicose Nation.